About another 30 seconds. West Bengal. All right, and so let's get started. And I'm going to shift the chat to chatting with just us hosts and panelists, so you can still make your comments to us, but also when you're asking questions, put them in the Q&A, and I'll remind you of that in a second. So this session today is about the professional certificate course in AI and machine learning with IIT Kanpur and how it can help you get a foothold in the AI and machine learning industry. Ground rules for the session: put your questions in the Q&A box that I just mentioned. We are recording the session, and we will send you a follow-up email that has a link to the recording. And we will also tell you about the bonus offer that we mentioned, invited you. Stay tuned with us to the end of the webinar to hear about that. And if you do want to request a proof of attendance for attending this session today, please put your name as you want it to appear on the certificate into the post-webinar survey. It'll pop up after you leave the webinar. So moving forward, let's start with a poll about you in the audience. And curious to know how many years of experience you have. Are you currently studying for your degree, or are you in the working world? I'm going to leave this open for about 20 seconds or so. Pretty straightforward question. So please get your answers in and hit the submit button. We will close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, the result is that about half of our audience are people who are currently studying. The rest of you are in the working world, tending to be more experienced. So, interesting split of the audience today. With that, I'm going to introduce Simplilearn. Excuse me as I work my presentation system here. First off, as you've seen, we're going to be asking questions about you. We'll be talking about the field of AI and machine learning, what it is, what are the things you need to know about it to be successful in it, and then we'll talk about what this program offers, how it can help you be successful in it, how it gets you job ready. We'll talk about how to get enrolled if it's of interest to you, and the bonus offer that we mentioned. We'll take your questions in the Q&A. So please, again, put the questions into the Q&A box in Zoom, and we will cover those later in the session. So I'm going to introduce Amitine. Actually, I'm going to let him introduce himself, but I just wanted to mention he is one of the premier trainers for our program, and like all the other trainers, he has extensive experience both in industry and in training. So, Amitine, if you'd like to tell a little more about yourself.
Thanks, Stuart. I'm thrilled to be here in this webinar session. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I hold an MBA degree in IT, and my journey in the world of analytics has been a really thrilling one. With over 16 years of corporate experience, I had privilege of diving deep into realms of training delivery as well as analytics product development. And if you ask about my true passion, it lies into statistical analysis, machine learning, deep learning. And throughout my career, I had pleasure of training corporate organizations, clocking over 4,500 hours of training sessions on data science, AI, and ML tools and techniques. And I'm also honored to be one of the trainers for the prestigious institutions like Purdue University and Caltech in association with Simplilearn. And in addition to that, I also run a consulting firm where we create data-driven solution, which I have been doing since last 10 years. And in terms of tools, techniques, as I mentioned, I'm well versed with AI ML, and I deal with Python, SAS, R. That's what I do. That in a nutshell, what I have been doing.
Thank you so much, Antin. Simplilearn itself is a provider of digital boot camps. In fact, we're the world's #1 online boot camp. We specialize in training professionals, working professionals especially, in digital skills for the digital economy. We've helped over 5 million people upskill in digital skills over the last 13 years. So we're extremely proud of that. We deliver all of our programs online, and so they're available worldwide. We've helped people in 150 different countries. This particular program we're talking about today is mainly focused for learners in India, but it again is available to a worldwide audience. So if you're visiting from outside India, this is still a program that you can engage in. And let's talk a little bit, about the careers in AI and machine learning. And you yourself have built a career in the field. So can you comment on this particular statement? AI and machine learning extends key human capabilities.
Basically, AI and machine learning, when we're saying extend human capabilities, that's how we should look at it. Because if you look at different applications which I've been using, like it could be Google Photos, it could be Translator, it is actually helping in terms of extending our own capabilities. It is a complementary technology that we are talking about. It's not something that we need to get worried. And there are a number of tools which have come up, which is helping us in terms of solving some real-time problem, where our understanding of the domain, our understanding of the problem is equally important as machine learning's or AI applications, computation power, or probably their ability to deep dive in the data is. So that's how I would look at it.
Yeah. There's an anecdote from the history of business that there was a newspaper article, an opinion article back in the 1920s that predicted that every woman in any industrialized country would eventually have to be employed as a secretary or administrative assistant because of the amount of filing and bookkeeping work that had to be done. And if you projected out the growth of business and the number of people required, that this would necessarily create that pattern of employment. Of course, we now understand that computing power allows us to automate many of those tasks, and so we don't have a society that's oriented towards relegating people, especially women, to those kinds of tasks. It means that we can start thinking about structuring our society in a more equitable way and a more productive way. And the same thing is going to be true of AI and machine learning, where these new capabilities give us each more scope to explore what we can do personally and what our employers can do, our organizations can do. How do you see that shaping out in the world coming ahead?
In terms of how what kind of jobs you're talking about in general?
Yeah, and the growth of the market, the
So
roles that people have. Yeah.
So the growth, if you say it's a exponential growth we are expecting in this particular field, and we require people with the right tech tools and technique knowledge, which can come and help us in terms of building some path breaking applications. So going forward, if you will see how it has how like 2-3 decades back when computers were introduced, especially in India, there was a talk about that a lot of jobs will be lost. But what happened is that it created a lot of job market for us, and something similar is happening in this particular domain also. Like a lot of things are getting automated, but for doing that particular job also you need to require professionals who understand these techniques, these tools, and then they can implement it. So if you talk about in general, the growth is tremendous. The requirement will also be pretty huge, and it's just basically you need to get into the groove and learn these topics, learn these concepts, start understanding how you can map these concepts to the some business problem that you are solving. That's how it will go.
Mm-hmm. And you can see from some of these statistics here that the size of the market in terms of spending, in terms of number of jobs, is really quite staggering.
Yeah, it is.
And so, yeah, this is a great field, a great choice of career for people who want to be on that leading edge. And the quote, and I'm sorry I didn't find the source of it, but it was quoted to me by a venture capitalist who said, AI is not coming for your job. People who understand how to use AI may be coming for your job.
That's
So
correct.
you want to be one of, yeah, you want to be one of those people. Speaking of which, there's different ways to be part of this industry and different roles that you take. So these are all kinds of careers people can build, starting with the foundation of the AI and ML skills and building out. So can you comment on, what differences there are between these roles and how people could pursue them?
Sure. So I'll start with the say data engineering. So if I talk about data engineering and machine learning engineer that we talk about, so data engineering is more about working with the data, creating data pipelines, making sure that right quality of the data is actually pumped into a machine learning algorithm. And it requires a lot of understanding of how data is flowing in the system. Then there are data engineers are responsible for designing, building, and maintaining the data infrastructures and the pipeline that we talk about. They also focus on data preparation, and then tools and technologies which are related to these tasks. That's what we talk about. Machine learning engineers, if you talk about in general, they focus on developing and deploying machine learning models in the system. So data engineers will help them in terms of making sure that data is received in the right order, and then on top of it they can start building their machine learning models. Now also in terms of development, a lot of experimentation happens in terms of finding out the right algorithm, right model evaluation technique, hyperparameter tuning, and then they need to understand tools and technologies which is required for developing those models. So in if you talk about relationship between data engineers, machine learning engineers, generally they have distinct roles, but they often collaborate with each other in terms of forming a team for the data science. That's how it goes. Then you have AI architect, AI developer when we talk about. So this moves entirely into artificial intelligence. So architect, as the names, as the domain is, you need to start understanding how to build a proper infrastructure for a particular project and how a particular model will be developed on a very broad level, and then how data will move, how the output will come, how it will work out in next year, or how we'll scale it going forward, what kind of challenges will come going forward if you are scaling at a different level altogether. That's what architects would be doing. And then you have a little more comprehensive job role that we talk about of a data scientist. So data scientists are basically people who understand machine learning algorithms, they understand statistical model, they have this skill set of building end-to-end machine learning or statistical models. They can deploy it, and they can easily connect with the business requirements. So this is how in general it goes.
I should unmute myself when I say that. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that kind of review of the paths of the different roles. So one should feel that there's a lot of potential for developing a career in whatever direction one wants to go, right?
That's correct. So what happens initially, you can start with the one of the skill set, and you can move laterally or vertically also. That's how it goes.
Um, the foundation is the sets of skills that you kind of see here. This may not be the ultimate comprehensive list, but it's a good representation of the basics that people need to know. And it builds up from the foundational skills to the techniques to looking into more advanced topics like the ones that fascinate you, right? So can you take us through how a learner would process or progress through these?
Sure. So any kind of job role that you are looking in this particular domain, you have to have some foundational skills done. So statistics and maths is something which is very important when you want to understand a particular algorithm, how it works, and how the output could be evaluated. So that's where statistics and maths is very important. Statistics also helps you in terms of doing some basic data cleaning or data transformation that we talk about. And in order to work with these concepts of be it statistics or maths or later on little more sophisticated machine learning algorithm, Python comes very handy. It has built-in libraries which can perform a variety of tasks in no time. And this has been a go-to tool for any kind of machine learning uh, algorithm implementation that we talk about. So that's something you should know, how to code in Python, and how to create different pipelines. So that's your foundational skills. That's something which you have to start with. And as you proceed, then you'll have different learning methods. So on a broad level, you can say you will have machine learning and you'll have deep learning, which will come under advanced topics. But within machine learning, you will have different algorithms. You will have supervised learning. You'll have unsupervised learning. You might you work with some reinforcement learning problems, semi-supervised. So these are the broad structure of different algorithms that you can apply on the data. And under each of these supervised, unsupervised learning that we are talking, you'll have a bunch of algorithms which you should understand how do they work. And to make sure that it works perfectly fine with the data, you should know the maths behind it. So you should learn the mathematical aspects of the model. How do you implement to the data? And then also what kind of challenges you're going to face. So supervised learning, unsupervised, this is what you'll be covering in the next stage. And the last stage that we have mentioned over here is advanced topic, which will talk about the deep learning in particular, and also the advancement which is happening within deep learning framework. So it starts, you should start with the understanding of the neural network. How does it work? And how do we implement with a framework called Keras or TensorFlow, which is a deep learning framework in Python. And then you can move towards newer advancements such as generative AI, which is talk of the town these days. So generative AI will help you in terms of generating new data points or new images in general. That's what we do. And then it also has some other domain altogether. We talk about computer vision and NLP. So this is how you should move.
Okay. Thank you. And that's kind of the basic comprehensive set of skills that you want to have to be capable. So let me ask a question for our audience, because you're all here, of course, because you're interested in qualifying as a professional practitioner of machine learning. And we're curious, why haven't you picked a program up to now to qualify to be certified in AI and ML? What is it that you've been looking for that you haven't found in those programs? Well, leave that open for just another 5 seconds. You can, of course, answer more than one answer. So please put in your answers, hit that submit button, and to end the poll now. And so it's a fairly even distribution. Most people, the most popular answer is you can't find a program that's comprehensive and covers all of the kinds of skills that Amitine just spoke of. then close behind, not feeling that you would have practical experience examples to show, to demonstrate your new set of skills to potential employers or to your current boss. Finding time within your work schedule and finding it difficult to learn in a non-interactive way. So those are all valid concerns, and those are things that we had in mind when we worked with IIT Kanpur to design this program. Forward. So the program is a professional certificate course in AI and machine learning. It is an 11-month program. It does require you to dedicate about 10 hours a week. So it's something that you can fit into a working professional schedule, but you do need to be able to make that commitment, especially committing to the live class times, because the program includes online live classes where you interact with an instructor like Amitin, where they'll take you through the integrated labs and projects. You'll use the different AI tools, programming tools, live on your virtual machine that's part of your learning environment. And then in between classes, you'll have other exercises and projects to work on. You'll have other materials to review to prepare for the following week's class. So it's something that you not only need to show up to the classes, but you need to dedicate a little time during the week to continue your education and move forward. It features a comprehensive and industry-aligned learning path. IIT Kanpur works with a number of companies, and they have said, this is what we need when we're hiring people into this field. So the learning path is designed to meet those industry needs and prepare you for work in that environment. So when we talk about the hands-on labs, I mean, team, this is really a program that's designed to learn by doing, isn't it?
It is actually, and then the field is such that you have to learn and then you have to implement on a real world problem.
And when we talk about the real world problems, it's a series of exercises in each of the modules, and we'll get into the modules shortly, where each has a set of projects you can choose from within that module, focusing on the topic of that module. But then we talk about a final project, a capstone project that kind of ties that all together. So we're really helping people to build out examples of how they would do this kind of work in the real world, right?
That's correct. And the idea is this, that you understand the concepts, and through uh, uh, um, uh, multiple case studies, projects that we have curated for you, you will understand that how a concept could be used in different domain, different industry, and it also gives you a lot of understanding of different stages you go through when you are working on a particular uh, project which is there. So it actually helps you a lot in terms of understanding how to implement an algorithm end to end, and also how it gets customized to different kind of problem that you come across.
Great. The the program culminates with a certificate issued by IIT Kanpur, and this certifies that you have completed the core courses to their satisfaction, that they can put their name behind your skills. It gives you exposure along the way to uh, the newest types of things that Amitin mentioned, including generative AI, things like ChatGPT and the prompt engineering for it. Um, we talked extensively about the integrated projects and how these create artifacts for your portfolio, things that you can demonstrate as practical experience. And then master classes. So master classes add a lot of value to the program. I mean, don't they? When people are able to hear from faculty members about advanced topics like you talked about.
That's correct, actually. So what happens? Master classes will be delivered by some professional coming from some professor who are having a lot of experience in terms of working with these projects, these problems. So they come up with their own understanding of what kind of challenges they have faced, how did they sort out, or what are the things you should focus upon when you are actually working on a project. So that adds a lot of value. Different people coming from different domain telling students that what kind of problem solving is happening in a particular industry. So that's pretty helpful, actually.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of the faculty, IIT Kanpur it was established in 1959. It is an educational institution with a long history. It is got a reputation throughout India and the world because it hosts things like the National Blockchain Project for India, doing advanced research into blockchain technology and its applications in different domains, working with the national and state governments on different projects as well as industry. Also, the Interdisciplinary Center for Cybersecurity and Cyber Defense, where this is the place where the defenses of the infrastructure of India, including the power grid, banking system, that type of thing. Um, these types of advanced cyber defenses are conceived there. It's a hub of technology research and development. It's the type of thing that you would love to have on your resume because people will recognize the name of IIT Kanpur. And we're extremely proud to be offering this and other programs in conjunction with them. So uh, to be eligible for this program, you must be a bachelor's degree holder. So I know that a number of you responded that you're still in school studying for your degree. If you happen to be scheduled to receive your degree sometime before this program would end, so if you enroll and projecting out the 11 months of the program, if you were scheduled to receive your degree before that ends, then you can be eligible for this program as well. So if you're earlier in your career, you may want to wait a bit. But for those who have a bachelor's degree, you must have some also that you have. Uh, we ask for 2 or more years of experience, although that is not a hard and fast requirement. But I mean, can you comment on what it is that helps people be successful with regard to having that background in programming mathematics and what the value of the work experience is?
Prior knowledge and or experience in programming will be very helpful. You'll catch up things a little faster. You will have understanding of how a code is working, and you'll not find it like some people might find it uncomfortable when they have not done any programming prior to these sessions. But having said that, I want to tell you that Python programming is pretty simple to grasp, and even if you do not have entire programming experience in terms of you might have done fair bit here and there, but then you have lost the touch. It doesn't actually create a problem. Python is pretty simple language to work, but understand this entire program is hands-on, and every section will have the coding experience. So you can understand from that how important it is to have some understanding of the programming. And the other thing is that when you talk about work experience, actually work experience helps both ways. One is that you understand how you can solve a particular problem in your day-to-day business that you are doing, and also helps students who probably do not have much experience to understand that how different professionals in their field, how they're mapping these algorithms and thinking how they can solve some problems in their industry. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, and then one of the interesting things about the work experience is that because you're coming into the program with generally with other people who are working professionals, there's a lot of like cross pollination, a lot of cross discussion about what do you do in your job and how does it work? And this is what I do in my industry. And you can learn a lot from each other in that respect, because this is a lot of live interaction in the program, both during the classes and on the community bulletin board, where you can talk to your peers about that. So that's a really interesting and valuable networking opportunity. So we talk about the modules. I mentioned modules before, and this program is designed to take you through a set of steps that will build your skills to enable you to succeed in the next step in the process. Can you comment a bit about how this flow goes?
Sure. So, as we have mentioned earlier, that mathematics and basic programming is important to start your journey into this particular field. So, we have taken care of that. We give you a mathematics and statistical essential plus a program refresher. So this makes sure that you are aligned with the entire program in terms of what basic mathematics is required and how you can start with the programming. So this is a pretty important section, I would say, because it builds the entire foundation for you. So here what happens is we'll talk about some mathematical concepts, predominantly about vector algebra and differential calculus, but in a very simple terms, not too complicated, too much complication we do not incorporate over here. We just give you the understanding of it, how it works and how it will be useful later on. And then in programming also, we tell you how a program works, how Python works entirely, how to understand a particular code, how to understand different component of it. Then once that is done, we move to a science with Python. So this is the part where we focus upon different kind of data processes that you have to work upon. So it would be like, it could be feature engineering, or it could be some basic data preparation that you are doing, or it could be data transformation. Sometimes we want to another so that the machine learning algorithms can pick it up. So all that will be taught over here. So this is basically giving you all the important aspects of data processing, data pre-processing that we talk about, or data preparation, which is very, very important, because once you have the right data, then only the algorithm will work perfectly. So here we'll be dealing with some statistical techniques, some simple aggregation, transformation that will be taught to you using Python. Then you move to machine learning, where we'll be dealing with the machine learning algorithm. We'll start with what machine learning is, what kind of different types of learning which are there. It could be supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, and so on. And then again, I want to tell you here that once we deal with a particular concept, we introduce you to a case study, and then we solve that case study using that concept that we have learned. So we'll be doing a lot of coding also. So we'll teach you the entire machine learning, different algorithms, how do they work, how to implement, what kind of challenges you face, or how to fine tune a particular model. Then once machine learning is done, we move to deep learning with Keras Flow, where we deal with the deep learning frameworks. We start with a simple neural network. How does it work? How this concept of neural network has been taken from a biological neuron, and then how to implement it. Then there we also talk about different types of neural networks that you can build. You have simple neural networks, or artificial neural networks that we call it. Then we have convolutional neural networks. You have recurrent neural networks. You talk about autoencoders. So all these networks will be taught to you, and again it will be implemented in Python using Keras and TensorFlow. Then we move to essentials of generative AI, prompt engineering, and ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been a path-breaking application that you must have experienced. So there we talk about in general what is generative AI, and how it is different from a traditional AI that we talk about. What are the applications of it? Then we discuss about prompt engineering. How does it work, and how ChatGPT can be utilized for different tasks by effective prompt and efficient prompt that we talk about. We also talk about how you can custom train ChatGPT. How does that work? And then eventually we talk about a capstone project. So this capstone project is designed to test your understanding on the entire machine learning life cycle, starting from getting the data, then understanding the data, data preparation, then data transformation, feature engineering, model building, model evaluation. This entire task will be tested for you, and we will. This capstone is a very comprehensive project, and again, you have different options for the capstone, also from a different industry. So that's what is capstone. In addition to that, you also get electives which you can choose, which is reinforcement learning. We talk about what is reinforcement learning, how does it work, and again, how do we implement it. Then you have advanced deep learning and computer vision, where we talk about how to work with the images, so image processing, and then how deep learning come into the picture to work with the images. Could be some example, could be image segmentation, or it could be object detection that we talk about. Then you also have natural language processing and speech recognition, which focuses on NLP task, and also working with the speech data, and how do we take that as an input, and probably we can do sentence synthesis, or speech to text, or text to speech. And then you have master classes, as mentioned earlier. Also, there will be academic and industry master classes. So this is a very helpful part where you get to interact with industry experts, as well as some academic experts who come, and they share their own knowledge. So this is how this entire program is.
Thank you very much for that. And just a reminder that the electives are included in the cost of the program, so that they're a way for you to kind of customize what you learn out of the program and what areas of interest to you that you want to take from it. So very powerful. You can take as many as you wish, as you have time for, and they give you an added layer of value in this program. So we talk about the integrated labs and the projects and the kinds of things you use, and not to necessarily go through what each of these are and what they're for, but the general principle here, Amatine, is that when you're taking someone through a class and the topic requires you to deploy some of these tools, you're actually showing people and letting them use them themselves on their virtual lab environment, right?
That's correct. Like you might working with the deep learning framework, so you need Keras for that, or probably you're building machine learning models. So sklearn is there, or probably eventually you are deploying a model. So we will introduce you to what is Flask. So this different level, we have different kind of requirement, and that's where we teach Python libraries, which will help you in terms of finishing that particular task or a job which is there. And at different places, different kind of libraries, different kind of frameworks, are we cover the entire end-to-end implementation.
Great. The nice thing is that when you do these projects, and these are examples of the kinds of projects you would do during the program or during the capstone, they're based on real world challenges. They let you look at different aspects and different industry domains, and they produce, when you do the projects in the labs, you produce artifacts in your portfolio, things that you can then show to say, this is how I've used this skill, this is how I've used this tool, and this is how I've solved this type of problem. So these are examples, and there are many, many more that you do during the program. As you can see, doing understanding of how a retail firm acquires its new customers, looking at the production optimization of processes in the production manufacturing facility, looking at the understanding the underlying principles of fintech that let you look at how to make credit decisions. It's a fascinating field, and it shows you how much of what you deal with as individuals in the real world is now driven by AI. Now, for example, get an instant microcredit decision at the point of sale something that couldn't be done if human beings had to look at your credit history and make that decision. But AI systems allow fintech firms to do things like that. So it's really, this is a way to understand how AI is transforming our world, right?
That's correct, actually. So it's going to help you a lot. I want to add one thing here. I've been interacting off late with a lot of students. So I want to tell here that what they mentioned is that because they have solved these problems, they get a lot of confidence in terms of how to take up a particular problem and then do entire end-to-end finishing of the project. So they get the understanding that when they're going to solve in a particular job role, a particular problem, how they're gonna take it and how they're gonna solve entirely. So it gives a lot of confidence to students that they can solve problems from different industry. They understand at each level what kind of job is required, what kind of tasks are required, what frameworks they can use, and eventually what kind of
Make sure that you're not running into doubts and blockers. But also, again, you get to choose which project you want to work on, what domain it's in that most interests you out of the different choices. And this is where you end up with that confidence that you just mentioned, Amitine, that you can take a real world problem and demonstrate that you have the skills and the understanding to be able to build the solution for it. That's basically the purpose of the project, right?
That's correct. That's correct. So in a very gradual manner, we prepare you for I would say capstone, which is very much near to a real problem that we solve. So gradually understand that what you are doing, and eventually when capstone is done, you get a lot of understanding that happens in a real world problem.
Yeah, and you say gradually, because in each of the modules of the program, in each of the phases of the program, you're learning these new skills and techniques, but you're learning them in a context where you learn how to apply them and put them into solutions, so that you've essentially learned about the building blocks that ultimately you'll use in your capstone project. So it's not something that's completely unfamiliar that you're getting thrown into, something you built up to. Simplylearn, as the delivery partner for IIT Kanpur, provides this ecosystem. We have a program manager who interacts with IITK to make sure that we are delivering the program to their standard. When you enroll with a number of other people on the same date and manage that as a cohort. So we assign someone who will be your shepherd for your group to take you through the process and ensure that you're staying on track and handling any questions or doubts for you on that level. The instructors, of course, in each of the courses, in each of the modules, are going to help you succeed in that particular phase of the program. Then you have the ability to draw on the other people that you're learning with, your peers, through live interactions, but also through the community and other features in the program. And then the way we've designed the platform, the curriculum, the resources, not only the live classes, but the self-study video and reading materials that help you process through the virtual lab environment, the sample data sets that you use in your exercises. All of this is designed to maximize your opportunities for success. And Amitine is going to show us a little bit of that and how it actually works at this point. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Amitine, and I'm going to let you go in and show a little bit of the flavor of
about, like it talks about. So all these are the sections that you will be covering in this particular program. And then once you go to a particular section, like if I talk about machine learning, that I was saying that you'll have to cover supervised, unsupervised, and all that. So here you get this self-learning module, and in this self-learning, you have this pre-recorded videos. Now, this is just for your help purpose, in a sense, if you just want to understand a bit on the topic and then come to the session. It's your wish. So this is just for your for your reference purpose. It's not that you have to go to those self-recorded videos and learn from that only. It's not that. It's just a reference for you, kind of a study material. If you get time, go through it, and then you can come back to the session and we can go in detail about it. So this is just for your reference purpose. So here you get self-learning videos. Then your lab is integrated in your LMS itself. So you don't have to actually install anything on your system. You don't have to worry about getting the right uh, Python version and right libraries. You just log into your system, lab, and then you can start working. I'll get to the lab a little later. Let me just tell you a few more things here. The other thing that is very useful over here is that once we start working on certain algorithms, we'll be working on a case study, and you need those data sets to work with. So here you get all the data sets. So if you see here, you can download the data sets, and whatever presentation the trainer is using, you can download from here under ebook section. So all the material that you need for the classes will be available over here. Same material will be used by the trainer, and everything you can download and you can work with the trainer. You don't have to search for the data, or you don't have to wait for trainers to share the data with you. That's pretty beneficial actually. And then once you finish the entire program, this particular section, you'll have your assessment here itself. And if you see here, there are different case studies given. So you have Mercedes-Benz Greener Manufacturing, which is a pretty interesting project. You have income qualification from World Bank. You have a healthcare project. You have a book rental recommendation project. So you need to pick up one of them to solve it, and then you need to submit in order to get your certificate done. This also will be here. And the good thing is that once you click on any of the problem, if I go to Mercedes or income qualification, it gives you the problem statement, talks about what are the tasks here, also gives you the link to download the data or data dictionary that is required. So everything you get over here itself. Then when you go to the lab, so the lab looks like this. You will have your lab integrated as we mentioned. Once you launch, you can start using the lab, the code book that we are talking about. Now, typically, this is how the session goes. I'll be starting this session, like suppose I'm talking about feature engineering. That's the topic for the day. This notebook will be shared with you in advance. All the coding is also inside it. I'll show you. So now this section covers all these topics. This particular notebook covers all these topics here, which has been given to you in a curated manner. Then we talk about what's the agenda. We explain to you different concepts. And once we explain the concept, you will see that we have taken a problem over here, and then we're going to solve it. So we talk about the problem here itself. The code has been given in advance. We explain every line of the code, how it works, what's the purpose of the code, and what is the result coming. So we talk about that. And then we explain you the entire concept. So that's how it goes in the lab. The good thing is you don't have to download anything. You can start working over here itself. And all this will be given to you in advance. Now, sometimes what happens, you might ask something extra over here, but what we are doing, you might ask how to do this or that. So I might add some extra lines over here. And once I add anything, at the end of this session, I'll share this entire notebook with you with the updated codes. How do I share? We have a community, and that also you can access from the lab itself. So if you go back to the lab here, you have a community section. Now the community section helps you in terms of interacting with each other and also to interact with trainers. So in case we are having sessions, suppose for 5 days in a week or 4 days in a week, you have some time off, or during those off days, you are working on a particular problem, you got stuck, you can put in the community. We will solve it for you. You can interact with the trainers. And whenever I have to share something extra, I can upload it over there. So even trainers, if they want to share something, they can share with you. That's where community come into the picture. Now, if suppose while working on the LMS or you have some other trouble happening, you can always go to our help section, and 24/7, the help is available. You can raise a ticket. You can tell about your problem, and one of us will get in touch with you to solve your particular problem. Once you finish everything, once you submit your submit your project, you go to certificate, and your certificate will be unlocked. That's how generally the LMS work.
Thank you. That's a great overview. I'm going to go ahead and move back to our presentation, but that gives everybody a flavor of how you interact with the system, how you fund your courses, and how you actually do the learning experience. A really valuable overview for us. So thank you for that. As I mentioned, this program is developed by IIT Kanpur. It's under their supervision, and Professor Kakar is the particular point of contact who organizes and supervises the program. And he is a very distinguished member of the faculty. He's one of the people that you'll hear from in the master classes. So we're extremely pleased to be working with him and with the institution. Some learner outcomes when you enter into this program, you're, as I mentioned, working primarily with other working professionals that are students with you. And they may come from companies like this. This is a sampling of people, of the companies people have come from and participated in our programs. They may come from IT, from the consultancy world, from banking and financial, but really it comes from across the board in all different industries at this point, doesn't it, Amity?
That's correct, actually. And they come with different companies, different industry, different vertical, which kind of actually helps a lot. We start interacting with them. We get to know what they are hoping from the program, as well as what kind of application they want to develop further. And some of them actually bring their problem also in the classroom to discuss, which actually adds extra advantage in a sense that you get to know about some problems that people are facing in real time.
So based on what we've discussed with you so far, are you interested in enrolling in the program? I'll start this poll. We'll just keep the yes or no question, so we'll just keep it open for about 15 seconds. Let us know. And I will close the program poll in 3. And over 95% said that you are interested. So let's share with you the details of how to get that started. The enrollment steps are very straightforward at simplilearn.net. I will put that into the chat, and either contact us through that email address or through our program webpage. Back to the chat here. And what they would do once you've contacted our learning consultants, they will ask you some questions about your background. They'll verify that you have the bachelor's degree requirement met. They'll ask about your work history. There will be a kind of a brief assessment test on your background in understanding of mathematics and programming, just to be capable of that. See, Mark has put his email into our chat. Mark, we have your email because of participation in here, so you can, in the final survey when you leave the program, you'll be able to also give us your email and information. Let's details. The next program classes start in August with an induction session, that orientation that mentioned on 27 July. So that's next week. You start the program and take advantage of the classes that start in August. When we say that there are limited seats available, this is because we can't accommodate an unlimited number of people in the cohort, try to limit it to about 25 or 30 people per enrollment cohort so that our instructors have enough time to devote to individual learners in each class. And the program cost is 1,53,400 rupee. EMI financing is available at 5,220 per month. So I have talked about this bonus offer. To find out specifically what the discount is off of these fees or reward for attending this webinar and enrolling in the August, take advantage of that. So knowing that the next cohort starts in August, how soon are you interested? If you are one of the people who said you're interested, how soon would you like to join the program? Again, straightforward question, so I'll leave this open for another 10 seconds. I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1. And over a third of our audience would like to get started in that August cohort, so that's great. Again, contact us at askus@simplilearn.net. If you're looking at September, October, also contact us, but I recommend that anybody who's interested in this program, even if you're looking to do it more than 6 months from now, do contact us. We'll keep in touch with you about future cohorts. We'll be able to answer any further questions. We had a question in the chat about demo classes. So if you ask our learning consultants at askus@simplilearn.net, they can point you to resources that will give you examples of what the learning experience is like. So we recommend that everybody contact us if you're interested in this program. I'm going to move forward. This is where we talk about questions and answers. I'm going to take this big slide off the screen because you probably prefer to talk to a machine rather than the slide. So we've got a bunch of questions in the Q&A, and I'm going to focus on that. Can you tell Kaushik how machine learning differs from deep learning, or how deep learning is a specific topic area distinct from machine learning?
Sure. So first of all, you need to understand that deep learning is a subset of machine. In terms of more technical difference, if I have to tell you, machine learning, when we work with, we have to work on the data a lot. We have to extract, we call it features, so extract some understanding of the data in a very layman to tell you, and then feed that understanding to machine learning, then it learns. Deep learning is a little more advanced thing that way, and they can understand the deeper meaning in the data on their own. You don't have to sit and curate for them. That's how deep learning and machine learning differ. But having
Thank you. So you have an interesting question from Nalava. First question is, if you build an AI, what's the potential for doing a startup company based on some AI?
I would say in a very generic way, any startup that you build, there are two ways. One is that you create something new altogether, so you move from 0 to 1, and another is that you replicate something. And if you ask me, I would always say that when you're creating something new, it has a lot of potential, and AI has that particular potential where you can create something new altogether. So just work on the problem that world is facing, solve it.
Yeah. And then the other question that he has is, or he or she, I'm sorry, I don't want to assume, is that if AI goes to its logical conclusion, do people really need to learn so many different programming languages if ChatGPT can write code for you? So why is it you want to have the programming language skills and not rely solely on ChatGPT?
Well, probably we might reach that level sometimes in distance future. I wouldn't say it has happened right now. The context of a code, when you talk about, you need to still feed in that information, that what you are looking and how you want to how you want your final result to be done, and then you have to further customize it. Chat GPT also, it does not give you an entire ready-made solution, although it helps you a lot. So I'm saying still we are into that particular place where you have to understand the whole logic of the code, and then probably you can take help of some of the virtual assistant, but eventually you'll have to understand the code in a better manner.
Yeah, we live in a world already with low code and no code solutions of various
Yeah.
types, and so we still need people who can assemble those pieces into systems, and it's necessary to understand some of the technology behind that to do that correctly. I do not have any experience or knowledge in programming and mathematics. What would you recommend for somebody to gain that experience, prepare for this field if they're not already in the position to start a program like this?
I would say keep it very simple. Start with the basic mathematics. Some of the maths that we talk about is the eighth grade mathematics, and that's how it starts. So it start simple. Keep it very simple. Learn some basic mathematics. Start with the programming. And programming is all about logical intuition. So if you have logical brain, programming will not be a problem at all for you.
Okay. We have a question from CS Carr, who says, I have 5 years of experience rather in IT tech support engineering. Two parts to the question: is there a job guarantee, and is this a good career field to move into? The first part I'm going to mention, Simplilearn doesn't provide a job guarantee, but we do provide certain services that'll help you with the job search and preparation for your job. So we do give that level of support, but we don't. This program offer a job guarantee or placement. The other part of this question: can you comment on somebody with that IT background, IT support background, moving into AI and machine learning? Is this going to be a good career move?
It would be one thing I tell that you have the entire domain expertise, and you also must be aware that what kind of development is going to happen in your own field. So now you start understand that if I'm talking about in general tech support, a lot of applications are there for say NLP task, okay, or it could be say predictive maintenance. If I'm talking about more on a maintenance side, it could be chatbots for the basic support you can create. So I'm saying all these things which are happening, you need to understand how it works. Then you will be part of the team which will be developing it. So it's going to be a pretty good field for even for people who are into tech support, and you need to just find the right path for that.
It's somebody who caught a typo somewhere in the presentation mentioning cybersecurity, although we did talk about the cybersecurity center at IIT Kanpur, which is one of its more prestigious accomplishments. How do you address somebody who has a management background, has had some programming experience, but has been spending most of their time over the last couple of decades in management? Is this a pivot that they can make?
Basically, we do a lot of program for the higher management also, where they want to understand how these topics work and how it will help their business, whatever vertical they are working. So one part is that where I start talking that, okay, AI will do this or that. And then the second part would be that I need to understand how practical some of the solutions would be if I have to implement in my own, probably in my position, if I'm implementing in my own department. So it helps you in terms of understanding that what all things are there, what are their limitations, how it will actually help you in terms of with your team, with your department.
Okay. Yeah, and it depends on whether your focus is to understand applications of AI as a manager, um, how you would deploy it within your organization and make use of it, versus becoming a practitioner in building systems. So, there are different programs you can pursue for those. This one is more of the latter in terms of helping you understand the technology, use the technology, build solutions with it. We have a question about how this differs from other Simplilearn programs. As Amitine mentioned, we are affiliated with various universities in India and the United States. So people have different preferences about which university that they would prefer to be affiliated with. Many of the issues or techniques or skills are similar in the programs, but for example, in this program, you'll be learning and taking master classes with IIT Kanpur professors. If you took it from a different university affiliated program, you would obviously be hearing from their faculty members. So that's the main qualitative difference. How will this course help in getting jobs related to AI and machine learning? So just the preface to Amatine's answer is, in order to get a job in any field, it is valuable to have experience in that field. If the catch-22 obviously is you can't gain experience without getting a job, unless, of course, you have some way of showing that you've used these skills, you've solved these problems. Here are examples. So, Amitine, would you like to comment on how this course helps people get job ready and find those jobs?
So as we have been talking about that, we dealing with the concepts right from the foundational level to the advanced level, and we prepare you in terms of solving some real world problem. So how does it help? It hones your skills, or probably develop your skills in terms of whatever is required for AI and ML jobs. And it also gives you idea, or it gives you a understanding that how a machine learning project life cycle goes, what kind of problem you'll be solving, what kind of skill set are required, what kind of programming skills is a must have. All that will be covered in the program, and eventually this will prepare you for your job roles.
What are the course timings? What days are the classes typically in these courses?
Generally, these courses, if I'm not mistaken, Stuart, this is for weekend batch only, right? So
I
this
think so.
goes, so this goes for 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, so 8 hours in a week.
And then the platform is available 24/7 for learners to do the preparation and homework and projects in between, so they can put in those hours at any time that they have. The tools that are given in the program so the question is it a paid subscription or a free version with limitations? And correct me.
That's free of cost entirely.
Pardon?
That's free of cost. No,
Yeah.
nothing's charged over there.
Yeah, what's included in the course is that Simplilearn paying the subscription to the different companies, so that for our students it's not an additional fee, and you get access to generally the paid version of these things. For example, if you're using cloud services, you're using a full privileged account that allows you to configure multiple virtual machines and that type of thing. So, are electives available, or do we need to choose a few? So you can choose as many or as few of the electives as you wish. They are included in the cost of the program, so it's really based on your interest and the amount of time that you have. Are there hands-on projects for prompt engineering and deep learning?
There are actually, and prompt engineering is focused upon effectively utilizing prompts. It could be, let's say, develop a storyline by giving appropriate prompt and then interacting with the ChatGPT. And similarly, in deep learning, you have image classification, retinopathy, which is there. You have loan data analysis. You have traffic signal predictions. All that is there.
Okay. We have an interesting question from an anonymous user who asks, could you address how AI can help in the field of psychology, psychological research? Um, how could psychologists use
Like a psychologist, how they can use, although I don't have any domain expertise on that, but I can say that if you have uh, some kind of data associated with with whatever study you are doing, or it could be patient data that you have, it could be mainly unstructured data, and if you want to understand it in a better manner or find some deep patterns, you can use probably deep learning frameworks like RNNs and all to understand the speech or text in a better manner. That's what you can do.
Yeah. I would recommend that to the user to look on Google for a project that was from the 1960s called ELIZA, E-L-I-Z-A. And ELIZA was one of the first efforts at natural language processing, and it was in the form of a virtual psychologist. So they were trying to show that a computer system could mimic some of the techniques of psychotherapy, asking questions and evaluating answers. Um, the history is fascinating. The technology was extremely primitive, um, as we can tell, because psychologists still have jobs and don't use a lot of machine-driven psychology. But um, it's a fascinating story. Again, Eliza from the 1960s. Will the syllabus also cover price forecasting techniques using AI and ML? And my understanding is that you will learn techniques that you can then apply in that domain. All right.
That's correct. You will be learning all that.
Okay. The programs for management and leaders, I would contact us. They ask us at simplylearn.net. Learning consultants ask about that. You can also see on our website some of that as well. What time are your typical on the weekend classes? Are those in the evenings or in the mornings?
Different batches actually. There'll be some batches which run in the morning, some of them run in the evening.
Okay. And you can
So
ask the learning consultants to give you a specific program schedule on that. I think that's all the questions we have time for. I do have one other question here. I think is really important from Aja, who says, I have 12 years of experience, a good package now, but if I go into this new technology, will they consider my existing package? So if somebody's already in a well-paid position looking to pivot or move into the new skill area, what can they expect, and what are the ways that they can maximize or minimize the impact on their short-term income?
on short-term income. Sorry, I missed the first part.
Yeah, the idea is that the person with 12 years of experience, they're making a good salary package currently. They're worried that if they shift into this new field, that they'll have to take a step back. What would you say?
I would say this way: you won't have to take a step back. Probably what you might think is that you don't get appropriate appreciation in your packages, salary packages. To start with, you might be getting something similar what you are making right now. I would say take that particular plunge, because after that you will see exponential growth. That's what is happening.
Yeah. If there's also different ways of approaching the problem where you might look at it as a way to enhance your current career path. If you're in a particular industry, if you have a particular domain knowledge, and you then add this set of skills to it, you may be able to find ways to build on your current position and add the AI and ML roles to it. So with that, I'm going to apologize to everyone whose questions I did not get to. I know there were quite a few, but limitations of time, I'm going to go ahead and move to the last part of our webinar. Do you have questions? Contact us at askus@simplylearn.net. I may be able to help you with some of those. And There we go. Brings up our final poll question for the audience. Are you interested in getting assistance from us? Would you like us to reach out proactively to you? If you would like us to give you a call, let us know here. I'll just leave this open for another 4, 3, 2, 1. About 2/3 of you are interested. That's great. I'll show you the result. And so for those of you who answered yes, you can expect a phone call. We will be contacting all the people who indicated they're interested in this program. And I want to put into the chat one last time the information about our course page and our email address. I want to take this opportunity to thank team so much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge today. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Stuart. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank everyone here who took time out of their evening or their morning, depending on where you are, to join us, to hear about this program and about the opportunities in the AI and ML career field. And we certainly hope that we can welcome you into the learning community with IIT Kanpur and Simplilearn. So with that, if you want to scan the QR code to get to our webpage or use the link in our chat, or if you want to email us at askus@simplilearn.net, we'd love to hear from you. And as I said, I hope we can welcome you into our learning community. That concludes our webinar for today. Thanks again.
Thank you.